I mean, I'm gonna be in the ring different. Like I say to him in Spanish, he needs 20 like him to give me a little problems.
Excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch.
Supremacy. Canelo Alvarez means to the Mexican fans what Floyd Money Mayweather meant for black people.
Canelo Alvarez issued a firm warning to Terence Crawford, expressing confidence in his ability to win. At a live press conference, Canelo emphasized his superior skills and experience, noting that the weight class difference worked in his favor. He dismissed Crawford, who is 3 divisions lighter, as not much of a threat. Confident in his height, strength, and experience, Canelo viewed the fight as an opportunity to showcase his talent.
Crawford, just won his debut at 154. Said if the money's right, we'll fight. Everybody wants that fight. What do you feel about that matchup? People saying the weight, all this stuff. How do you feel about that?
You know, everybody wants to fight me. Everybody calling me out and everything. And you know, like I say, I have nothing to win with Crawford. 2, 3 weights class less than me. But if the money is right, why not? Right? Why not? But look, I'm focused 100% on Berlanga. I know I have a challenge in front. I never overlook any fighter. So I'm focused 100% in this, and then we...
Canelo is the undisputed super middleweight champion, known for his strength, precision, and solid defense. He dominates his division by controlling the pace and setting the tone in the ring. Crawford, meanwhile, has risen to the top across multiple weight classes with his versatility, speed, and adaptability. His seamless switch between orthodox and southpaw stances, combined with a high ring IQ, allows him to outsmart opponents and exploit openings. A clash between Canelo's power and experience and Crawford's speed and skill promises to be thrilling and could mark a pivotal moment in boxing history.
Terence Crawford said that he moved up and won, and Canelo moved up and lost.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won.
I don't think that was a strong point because Canelo Alvarez actually moved up and won. I mean, he moved up a lot of weight classes, but if you want to talk about light heavyweight, he moved up and he beat Kobe. Then he moved up again and he lost to Bill. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, he moves up to 154. He won 115, 113, but it was against an 11-0 Madrimov who didn't really have much of a resume, right? But there's a difference, to be real. I mean, Bivol is a Hall of Fame. Okay, this guy, all-time light heavyweight. It's a bit different. Canelo did knock out Kovalev when he did move up. Okay, and Kovalev is a bigger challenge at light heavyweight than Madrimov at 154 for Terence Crawford.
Trainer Joel Diaz has emphasized the importance of boxers facing opponents of different sizes, especially when smaller fighters step up to challenge naturally bigger ones. He notes that a single punch can drastically alter a fight, particularly when one fighter is accustomed to a heavier weight class. Diaz's perspective is especially relevant with the upcoming bout between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. While Crawford has demonstrated exceptional skill and adaptability, Diaz believes moving up in weight to face someone like Alvarez presents serious challenges. As a natural super middleweight, Alvarez holds clear advantages in size, strength, and experience against larger opponents. Though Crawford is praised for his speed and technical precision, Diaz argues that these traits may not fully offset the physical gap. In this matchup, the ability to take punches from a bigger fighter could be crucial, and Alvarez's experience in that area might give him the edge.
Say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford moved from 47 to 54 to fight Madrimov. What did he do to Madrimov? Nothing. Okay, Madrimov was a 54-pounder. Now, to move up to 168, that's 2 more divisions. Canelo Alvarez will take any punch from Crawford, but I don't think Crawford will take any punches from Canelo. Remember, Canelo got hit by Triple G, the heaviest hitter in that division. And Canelo took those shots like a champ. I don't think Crawford has anything to beat.
Canelo Alvarez's rise to prominence is defined by his willingness to face tough opponents across multiple weight classes. His victories over larger challengers have solidified his reputation as a determined and strategic fighter. Beyond the ring, Canelo holds deep significance for Mexican fans, similar to Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s influence among black communities in Guadalajara, Jalisco. His journey from humble beginnings resonates deeply, symbolizing determination and pride, and reflecting the aspirations of many Mexicans.
Canelo is beating these guys with all 5 layers of defense. Number 1, feet. Number 2, elbows, hands, shoulders, and the mind. This is exactly how both of those guys got to the highest level of boxing supremacy. Canelo Alvarez means to the Mexican fans what Floyd Money Mayweather meant for black people. 50 wins in boxing, no losses, no draws. And follow for more.
Shawn Porter, a former welterweight champion who faced Terence Crawford in the ring, has expressed concern about Crawford's ability to handle Canelo Alvarez's power. While he acknowledges Crawford's toughness, Porter questions whether he can endure the physicality of a naturally bigger and stronger opponent like Canelo. He emphasizes that taking punches from a larger fighter is a unique challenge and that the weight difference could greatly influence the fight. Porter believes Crawford's game plan should center on movement and avoiding direct exchanges to neutralize Canelo's power. He also notes that although Crawford has shown durability against hard-hitting welterweights, stepping up to super middleweight introduces a new set of challenges. Porter's insights highlight the fight's complexity and the critical need for strategy and adaptability when facing a dominant opponent like Canelo Alvarez.
Oh, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he's still got that kind of steam. But there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo has, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out,
Promoter Eddie Hearn has labeled the upcoming clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford as a freak fight, highlighting the major weight difference between the two fighters. Crawford, who has competed at welterweight and light middleweight, will move up to super middleweight to face Canelo, a natural in that division. Hearn points out that on fight night, Canelo could weigh between 185 and 190 pounds, while Crawford might come in around 168 to 170, giving the Mexican champion a clear size and power edge. Despite Crawford's remarkable achievements, including being the first male boxer to become undisputed in 2 weight classes, Hearn questions whether he can overcome the physical disadvantage. He adds that even if Crawford performs well, the size disparity could prove too much, and a win for Alvarez might be seen as less significant due to the mismatch in natural size.
Crawford going to be able to bridge this weight gap?
Yeah, I don't think he can, in all honesty. I mean, he might not be able to bridge it on Saturday.
Yeah.
So,
one weight class.
68, yeah, but you're coming up from 35. 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like, he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized against Canelo Alvarez. Yeah. But you have to use your movement. If you're Terence Crawford in that fight, the last thing you want to do is stand and trade. He'd be moving a lot in that fight, trust me. I'm not saying he'd be running, but he would be moving a lot. Of course, that's the way to beat him. Yeah.
Dan Rafael, a veteran boxing analyst, has provided a detailed breakdown of the upcoming fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, set for September 12, 2025, in Las Vegas. Rafael calls it a landmark moment in boxing history, with 2 pound-for-pound greats facing off. Crawford's decision to challenge Alvarez at super middleweight reflects his boldness and confidence. While Crawford's technical brilliance, adaptability, and ring IQ are well known, Rafael points out that moving up to 168 pounds introduces new physical challenges that Crawford has yet to face. Canelo, by contrast, brings proven strength, experience, and tactical mastery that have made him dominant in the super middleweight division. His ability to control fights and absorb pressure makes him a formidable challenge for any fighter stepping into his weight class. Rafael views the matchup as more than a contest of skill, it's a clash of legacies. A win for Crawford would cement his place among boxing's all-time greats. For Alvarez, a victory over an elite fighter like Crawford could solidify his dominance and potentially lead to a 5th world title across different weight divisions. Rafael also notes that this bout goes beyond titles, it's about two champions competing at the highest level. The anticipation reflects the immense stakes and popularity of both fighters. Canelo, for his part, has voiced a strong desire to deliver the kind of action fans crave. Reflecting on his recent win over William Skull, a fight criticized for its lack of excitement and record-low punch output, Canelo expressed frustration with Skull's overly defensive approach. Looking ahead, he hopes Crawford enters the ring with the intention to engage and entertain, believing fans deserve a thrilling, memorable showdown.
What's your message to fighters who will fight you in the future? Obviously not Crawford, but with that kind of mindset, they just want to last the distance.
That's a mediocre mind. That's a mediocre mind because they come just to survive, to go to the 12th round. That's a mediocre mind. You need to put a good fight there and put great show, you know? You know what I mean?
Do you think Crawford will employ the same tactics to try and box
I hope
outside?
not. I hope not because the people deserve a good fight.
What do you make of the Crawford fight next?
Huh?
How excited are you for the Crawford fight?
I'm excited. I'm gonna enjoy this win and then we think do it.
What did you think of Ryan Garcia's performance yesterday?
Boxing veteran Roy Jones Jr. believes that the outcome of Canelo Alvarez's fight against Terence Crawford will hinge on Canelo's strategy. He warns that if Alvarez underestimates Crawford or strays from a disciplined game plan, he could be in danger. Jones stresses the importance of Canelo using his size and power effectively while still respecting Crawford's skill set. He highlights Crawford's adaptability and ring IQ, which allow him to exploit any mistakes. To secure victory, Jones says Alvarez must approach the bout with caution and tactical precision.
It's Jonathan Agioff here for Pro Boxing Fans, joined by, does he need any introduction, Hall of Fame legend Roy Jones Jr. here in the UK. There's a few questions about the US guys. Obviously, Tank and Lamont Roach, we saw the first fight, Lamont Roach shot the world. What do you think happens in a rematch if they fight?
I think he shocks the world again, but the only thing different this time is Tank will come with a different attitude, different personality, different motivation, and I think Roach will do good again, but I think Tank will be more dominant this time.
And obviously we know if Canelo wins against William Skull, he will fight Terence Crawford in September. Who would you favour in that fight?
You know, it's a hard one to call, and I'm going to tell you why it's a hard one to call. It's a hard one to call because it'll all be predicated upon how Canelo approaches the fight. If Canelo approaches the fight like he's the man and he can box and I'll box Terence Crawford, he'll get beat. If he comes out and shows that he really wants to go out and prove whether he's still the best, he might win. So it all depends on which Canelo come to the dance.
Edgar Berlanga has expressed concern about the upcoming fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, calling it a mismatch due to the significant weight difference. While acknowledging Crawford's superior skill and ring intelligence, Berlanga believes Canelo's size advantage as a natural super middleweight could be a major factor. He points out that although Crawford's mental toughness and abilities surpass those of Canelo's previous opponent, Jermall Charlo, it's uncertain whether those traits can overcome the physical gap. Berlanga notes that if Crawford were a natural 168-pounder and Canelo closer to 147, the matchup would look very different. Still, he doesn't doubt Crawford's talent, stating, "I don't doubt him, he's one of the best in the world. If he were bigger, he could definitely pull it off." He also recognizes the fight's appeal, citing its financial rewards and the historic significance of a two-time undisputed champion facing the reigning undisputed 168 pounds title holder. However, Berlanga maintains that the size disparity remains a major obstacle that could impact the fight's competitiveness.
Fred, my brother, Terence Crawford, wants to fight Canelo.
Yeah.
Just from your expert opinion, knowing how Canelo fights, what he's like in the ring, I know you haven't been in the ring with Terence, but what do you think of that fight?
I truly believe, that, anything can happen in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that, is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better, you know what I'm saying? But, Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can't count him out.
Ryan Garcia has confidently predicted that Canelo Alvarez will defeat Terence Crawford in their upcoming super fight, pointing to Canelo's size and mastery of his boxing style as key advantages. Garcia emphasized that weight classes exist for a reason and noted that Crawford's showing against Israil Madrimov at 154 pounds lacked the strength needed to compete at 168 against an experienced champion like Alvarez. Crawford can't beat Canelo, Garcia said. He didn't look strong against Madrimov, who isn't even that big. Canelo has perfected his style and always knows what's happening in the ring. I don't see Crawford beating him. Garcia's assessment reflects a broader sentiment in the boxing world that the size and experience gap between Alvarez and Crawford could prove decisive, even while acknowledging Crawford's skill and determination. He believes Canelo's physicality, power, and ring intelligence would ultimately secure the win. Meanwhile, Crawford's pursuit of a fight with Alvarez has drawn criticism from fans and analysts who question his motivations. Some argue that the bout is driven more by the potential for a massive payday and increased visibility than by competitive ambition. They suggest Crawford's leap in weight was a strategic move aimed at maximizing financial gain and cementing his legacy. Critics also point to his past pay-per-view numbers as evidence of limited drawing power. Despite these views, Crawford maintains that his goal is to challenge the best and push himself to new heights in the sport.
You heard what Terence Bud Crawford had to say on why he wants to take on Saul Canelo Alvarez.
I just want the opportunity, to fight the best fighter in my generation that's out there. He's the most accomplished fighter, and I would just like to fight another great.
Which is a very noble reason. I mean, it's a reason that I can get behind. If you notice, his primary reason isn't money. He did say it'll be the biggest fight, which, you do want a big fight, but I don't think he meant monetarily, which the money comes, okay? But what he's saying is he want to test himself versus the best. And I think he's telling the truth here, right? Of course you want big money and stuff like that, but I think his swan song is just him test himself up against the very best. Those are the reasons.
Terence Crawford has openly acknowledged that his interest in fighting Canelo Alvarez is driven by both competitive ambition and financial motivation. He stated that the fight will happen when the right business opportunity arises. Crawford views the bout as a chance to elevate his profile and secure a major payday, recognizing the commercial appeal of facing a high-profile opponent like Alvarez. While some critics question his intentions, Crawford maintains that challenging the best is a natural step in his career. For him, the fight represents a blend of athletic excellence and business strategy, aligning with his goals both in and out of the ring.
Canelo fight, realistically left your mind once he said he's not interested, or you're still pursuing it?
Not at all. I think business talk. With the right business come across the table, it happens. I just be talking, man. Canelo a big dude, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I believe in my abilities. He's a heavy dude, but he's not a big guy. Like, he's 5'8", I'm 5'8", you know what I mean? My arm's longer than his, so that fight would be good.
That's all for today's show. Stay tuned until next time.